Wednesday, the 25th of August. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to be with you once again. So, my talk for today, our midweek reflection, well, emojis. Now, if you have a phone, then you know, or a computer, you know what emojis are all about. But if you are listening and maybe on the telephone line because you don't have a computer or phone that has all these things on it, then emojis are just emotions and it's icons for your emotions. So of course you've got a thumbs up for like, and then of course, I can't even do that, isn't it? It's your love heart. Can't quite even do that. But anyway, your love heart for you love something. There's the sad one for something you're not happy about. Oh, we've got the angry one, don't we? We've got the angry symbol. The wow, they're probably the most common ones, but there's lots of other ones with like a wink or blowing a kiss or a hug. I can't remember how they do the hug, but there's the hug one. Yeah, there's one for having a cold as well, you know, sneezing or a runny nose. So there's lots of emotions out there. So that's what emojis are. And I thought that's a good thing to talk about this week for you because, as you know, in my midweek service, I do try and talk to you about things that have been happening in my life, in the life of Forfar, in the life of our world, at these midweek reflections. So emotions, they have been up and down in my life in this last week or so. So what's been happening this last week that has made me happy, sad, angry, riled, apprehensive, joyful, feeling funny with laughter? What about you? Has anything been happening in your life this past week that some of these emotions will fit into? Well, sometimes I think you can come to a story or an event, and depending on how you're feeling personally yourself, it can change how your mood is around about that or how you would react to it. So last week, my niece, her husband, their two children and the dog all came to stay, and they stayed for 4 days with us. And do you know what? It was a blast. Billy and I had a great time because my niece and her family live in Oxford and they were up visiting other family members and very kindly came to see us also for these 4 days. So we did lots of different activities with them and yeah, it was just great fun. I really, really enjoyed it. However, the day they left, which was last Thursday, well, the very next day, my daughter arrived, Joanne, and she stayed for 3 days. And then Joanne went home on Monday, and then yesterday, my big sister arrived, and she's going to be with me for 3 days also. But you know what? I would have my heart emoji out because I love it. I love spending time with people, and I certainly love spending time with my family. Really, that's what makes me happy. So that was my happy emoji that I would have out. While Joanne was here, well, someone treated all of us, which was very kind of them, treated us to a wonderful meal at the Castle Club. Yummy, to say the least. And then Joanne treated her mum and dad to a meal with her at Armstrong's on Sunday. Yummy, yummy. And while we were at Armstrong's, I bumped into someone who knows me as the minister of Easton Dole Church and whose company I have been in a few times since I've been here because she doesn't live in Forfar. Well, I don't think she does. She introduced me to her family who were sitting with her at the table and that she was having a meal with. And then she informed me that both she and her daughter was talking as well, informed me that they faithfully listen to this midweek reflection and also our Sunday service every single week. And when they said this, they had a smile on their face and said that they really did enjoy them. So hello and a big shout out for Lindsay McGavock and of course her daughter Karen. We're really glad that you join in on these online services. And it was lovely just having that little chat with you on Sunday afternoon for a few moments at your table. And you certainly brightened up my day. So there's my emoji for that. A big, big like. So thank you. And I'm sure all of you have had good days or bad days, good weeks or bad weeks since, well, this last little while anyway. However, I was horrified, and I don't know if there's an emoji for horrified, maybe the symbol, but I really was horrified to see the images coming out of Afghanistan this last week. I can't even begin to imagine what these people are going through. I mean, I just can't even put myself anywhere in their shoes. I just think the whole thing is absolutely horrific. To run alongside a moving plane, to climb onto the wings and the fuselage, and then as it takes off to fall to your death. To be killed or trampled as you try to reach some sort of safety. To hand your child over to a complete stranger in the hope they get them over that wall and into the airport grounds. Again, I don't know about you, but I would have the tearful emoji at that as well as the horrified emoji. What about the poor soldiers on the ground as they try to keep the security of the airport tight and then try to help those that are being trampled and pushed and shoved? What about those people who have passes that are in the crowd and just can't get to the gates to get through to the airport? It's just absolutely horrifying and so, so sad. We in the West simply have no idea what the people in Afghanistan will be facing in the coming days, weeks and months ahead. And I really do hope that in your prayers this week, you will be praying for them. The one thing that's got me riled up and angry, so that's like the big red face emoji. So riled up and angry this week is once again some of the reporting that has been going on with the BBC. It really has got me annoyed. That's putting it mildly. And I actually am beginning to feel sorry for some of the politicians. I never thought I would say that, but I do feel sorry for some of the politicians. Because the one thing that's really riled me up this week is the news coverage and the talk from other people and other politicians about this phone call that Dominic Raab didn't make. Now, is it only me that thinks that the news coverage of this was excessive and out of proportion? Does anyone really think that if that phone call had been made by Dominic Raab or by one of the junior secretaries that was supposed to have made it, does anyone really think it would have made one blind bit of a difference? Now, we all know the Taliban were taking over, but, they're saying it could have made a slight difference. Well, not from where I'm sitting. I really don't think it would have. But again, I don't know everything, do I? And that's the problem. Nobody knows everything. But it really gets me riled up when they're talking to the politicians and then these reporters, and then they say, are you going to resign over this, Minister? I mean, really? I just know. It really gets me riled up. And they're always looking for people's heads to roll when anything happens. When in fact, sometimes it's better to have that person still in that role. They always go for the jugular. Anyway. And then the news reporters, what do? They interview the politicians, and why they come on the programme, I don't know, because they are always getting cut off mid-sentence. They're never really allowed to finish what they're saying, because then the reporter is jumping in with another question. So you can tell that these kind of things are really annoying me at this moment in time. And then added to all of that, the reporters on the TV will say, "Can you guarantee us, Minister?" Or "Can you confirm to us?" Blah, blah, blah. Of course they can't guarantee it. Of course they can't confirm it, because they're politicians. For goodness sake, they never confirm or guarantee anything. But even if they did, the reporters would no doubt find fault with that as well. So emotions, as we all know, can be felt to varying degrees. But no matter what these emotions are, we definitely need to think before we speak. Because some people will take maybe umbrage at the fact that I'm criticising the reporters for what they say and do. Some people will criticise me because, well, I feel sorry for the politicians sometimes. But, we have to think before we speak. But the one thing we could definitely do is to speak to God about any emotion that we're going through. And I would hope and pray you would speak to God about these emotions, because we want to be thankful to God for the good things and the joyful things that are happening in our lives. We have to be thankful for the learning curves that we are on, whether those learning curves are good or whether they can be painful, because we learn from mistakes also. And it's okay to shout and to argue with God, to disagree with God. And it's certainly okay to leave our burdens at God's door also, for we are told that many times. So don't hold anything in. If you feel you can't talk to a family or a friend or a neighbour about something, talk to God, because God is always a willing listener. But we have to be a willing listener and listen out for what God wants us to do. See you next week. Bye.